Avatar re-release wows with $30 million at the global box office. To which I say, what?
I say,
what?
wow,
Why
because
did
they wowed us.
Re-release it.
Avatar
we're about to get
2.
the next one, and they're like,
Yeah. That's becoming very common now for movies with these long running.
Because everyone forgot about the first Avatar because it was so forgettable.
you know which Avatar I've never forgotten about in my life?
Which
that
one?
Animated one with the flying bison or whatever.
The Last Airbender
Yeah,
series?
that's the
That was
better
great.
of the last
And actually, it was funny because, like, when the James Cameron Avatar came out, it was in theaters at the exact same time as the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie by M. Night Shyamalan. And it was so confusing when you were asking people, like, have you seen Avatar yet?
And they're like, why would I go see that?
Both of them, in my opinion, sucked. But I guess the difference is just that the blue people Avatar made way more money.
Yeah.
According
I heard
to
that
the
live
chat,
action one,
according
it's bad.
to the chat,
Really bad.
people like it. Like
Which one?
Our chat. People.
No,
like,
which movie?
The James Cameron one.
Okay.
And this
but
is
it
one of
was
those
such
things,
climate change propaganda.
I
The
mean,
first movie.
that
at
might
least.
that
I don't
might
know
be
about
more of
the
a
There
new
were
problem
one.
no
now.
flying bison in it. I don't understand.
It was about like it was sort of Wall-E, but more preachy and
weirder.
not charming the same way.
People were
It
less sensitive to that stuff than they are now.
But it was the same.
I don't know.
I think
feel
it was
like-
the same messaging apparatus and the same goal behind it. Like the story, if anyone remembers, I doubt anyone does.
I don't. I
Is
literally
that-
remember nothing about it.
Well, they're looking for this substance called unobtainium on Pandora.
There's
and
a hint there on what the issue might be.
wow, yeah, it's unobtainable. And it's like the humans are invading this indigenous species and trying to take their resources because they're greedy and all they care about is profits and industrialization, etc. So I just found it preachy, the story, but no one remembered the story because the movie actually sucked and they only wanted to see it for like watching it in 3D.
And I
Which is-
stand
It
by
was
the
just
theory.
visually interesting.
I was going to say that seemed to be something that might work back then and wouldn't work now, but what the hell do I know? It just made $30 million in one weekend over a decade after its release. So it says
I don't believe these numbers though.
in anticipation of the sequel.
20.5 million internationally. They just
Well,
released it.
this
They
is-
released it in a country that it was previously banned in.
This
so they
is
finally
why-
made the money off of it.
It makes
I
the
don't know if that's
money
true.
because it only made in its original run, its first run through theaters, only 26% of it of its total gross over all 2.9 billion. Only 26% of that comes from America, which is why I think it may feel like a psyop here because there's a hell of a lot less people that care about it here than do abroad.
Well, it says 10 million in North America. I don't know how much of that is the U.S.
No, that's North
Mexico
America and
and
Canada.
Canada, too.
So, but what I'm saying is the 10 million in the U.S. and 20 million internationally follows along the line of what happened when it originally came out, where almost all its money was made overseas, not in the U.S.
Yeah.
It was also a testament to the similar concept of Top Gun Maverick, which is that it didn't have an amazing opening weekend. It made like 77 million in its opening weekend, but it had extremely long legs and great word of mouth, meaning that it was like number one for 7 weeks in a row, which I think is still a record.
I don't know. I stand by
there's-
my theory with this one that the 20.5 million that were made internationally were in places that either couldn't show the 3D or whatever was special about this movie then, or literally never screened the movie ever, and so it's new content somewhere. I
But
feel
there's
like
no way it was banned anywhere because it's so inoffensive.
I just don't
China might be like,
believe.
Did they not like
No,
the hair
no.
sex scene?
Oh, by the way, I do.
I just whenever they're like it re-released money, and I feel like all of these numbers, all this data is so twisted. Like I'm being cynical right now. I have no evidence to back this up, but sometimes I just feel like they're like, well, we made $10 million, but actually it's just $10 million that we were supposed to get paid the first time, and the theater finally paid us or something.
No,
You know what I mean?
trust
Like,
trust your intuition for
Well,
sure.
actually, I've if you really think about it,
it's like Amazon was specifically screened it so to boost the numbers or something.
yeah.
the movie has a budget of let me see what the budget is for the new one. The new one,
Which is apparently like 4 hours long.
Yeah, and this guy was like, "We're gonna need bathroom breaks."
So he knows how
I
shitty
think-
it is.
$250 million. So that means it's got a marketing budget of over $100 million. Which means they could have just spent 20 million of that pretending like a bunch of people bought tickets to make it seem more appealing, as if it makes people want to go see the sequel.
Yep.
There
all
was
fake.
it wasn't there some theory that box office numbers are inflated that way, where they just buy out theaters and they're empty, and they do these empty screenings.
That happened a bunch
on the opening weekend, at least.
That happened a bunch for Captain Marvel. They said that it was sold out everywhere, and people were taking pictures inside movie
that
theaters.
confirmed?
It's like when people buy
Never
their
confirmed.
own, they buy like warehouses full of their own books, so it'll like bump up on the bestseller list.
There was also a really funny thing where like Brie Larson like advertised like a GoFundMe to make or like a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe to like get people to be able to go see it rather than just like donating money herself.
That's so dumb.
So it does feel like a psyop. I don't know anybody in the world that actually cares about Avatar.
That's the thing, they don't care. But they're watching it because it's visually interesting and there's no other factor. And I don't even know how that's possible because it is over a decade old. The technology they used to make it at the time, I know, was a selling point. Like, everyone was really interested in how they I don't know the name of this, but like they did that effect where it like connects different there are like dots that they use to like
it's like
do
part
the visual
of
CGI that as they like the characters would move and then they would be able to like
and a bunch of clips of that. They're in these like black suits with the lines, so the computer can track the movement.
Yes,
of their limbs,
yeah, I forget
so
what
they
the
look
name
more
of that is.
I don't know what it's called,
but that
a bunch of clips of that just resurfaced as this was coming out. Like
the behind the scenes
motion
footage.
capture?
Yeah, but like there's something. What is
Someone
that
in the chat will
specifically
know.
called? But like the behind the scenes footage of that, I remember more than the actual movie because people were interested in the CGI more than the story, which is why no one remembers the story. I don't know how they're going to continue on it.
Four more movies.
How many of the same actors have been hired for this one?
4 more movies. Aren't you excited about that?
No!
4?
Ugh, I hate this
it
so
advertises
much.
them all the way up to the fifth. Yep, see, Avatar 3, 4, and
What?
5.
That's the thing. Like, all of this doesn't matter. They're going to tell you it's selling out so much because the studio has already put money behind making 4 of them. Like, they don't need you to see it. They have decided it's going to succeed. And that's crazy. This is one of the things that I know this is my age-old soapbox, but, like, if you know they're making a universe out of something, which I believe for the first Avatar they didn't necessarily know, that's why there's been such a gap, but like if you know they're going to produce 5 movies, just know you no longer matter. They have decided that they don't need your dollars and they don't need your review to make this content, like, and that doesn't hold them to a very high standard. Like, I think movies should have some accountability, and really it's supposed to be the audience. You need to make movies that engage the audience. This is allowing them to basically produce garbage for no reason.
Almost all the actors are coming back that I see here.
So they are going to jump ahead in time, at least to control for the fact that they look different now, right?
I would assume, or they could de-age. I don't know.
Well, like the guy that decides to live on the planet, like in the one trailer I saw, it's like I think he has kids with the blue lady that he decided he was into.
After they had hair sex?
Yep.
Oh, we have that here. By
Maybe
the way.
a selling point of watching the re-release in theaters could be, but it wasn't, that they would show the extended version that was on DVD.
They did that in some of the other re-releases.
Theatrical re-release?
In the second re-release, they showed the extended cut, not the original cut. But that is why the people were asking why the Avatar re-release doesn't have the hair sex scene. To which I said, what? Because I don't think I ever watched it on DVD.
Yeah, well, you said you didn't watch it at all.
Yeah, like
Did you watch it ever?
No, I saw it in theaters, but I didn't see. I never saw this scene.
Yeah,
and I remember nothing about this movie.
You don't remember this scene?
Because there's this like
It's
white.
dumb. It's weird.
I think I remember like vaguely. I haven't rewatched this scene, but there's like this white fiber that's in their hair, like in the middle of
I
their
know they like wrap
braid,
their hairs together,
and then their hair like connects. Like their braids connect as he's like in his blue person avatar.
So people were wondering if it was some type of censorship that prevented this from being in the movie, to which they say apparently that they just showed the original theatrical cut, in that the hair sex scene was in the extended edition, not in the original theatrical cut of the movie.
Clearly left a strong impression.
Do not think that I saw the extended theatrical cut. I know I saw it in theaters. I know I saw this scene.
What year? Roughly.
Is this a Mandela effect?
What did you? Yeah, did you see the original or did you see
when
it
it got
re-released?
released?
Okay.
No, you think I wanted to see a re-release of Avatar, Brett? Do you know me at all?
I have no idea.
That's insulting.
I can't even watch Fast and the Furious, which has been out for years. Like, you
Fair
think
point.
I'm organized enough to go to a theater to see a movie?
But
I
it
don't
feels like I did see it in theaters. That hair scene.
I know I saw the hair. I've only
This
seen
feels like
Avatar
a
once. I've
big Mandela
only seen
effect.
it in theaters, and I know I saw that scene.
They list that here. They say they ask if this was the Mandela
They're
effect.
lying.
No, it was in the theater. There's no way I would pay to watch this. I know I saw it in theater. But whatever. I think I saw it like the summer it came out.
Stand your ground.
So
The numbers are fake, and we did see the hair sex scene in
Like,
theaters.
if they don't know that this iconic scene that everyone talked about that summer was in the movie, like, this whole franchise is lying to you. Don't believe anything they tell you about these numbers.
Maybe it's just like an MK Ultra thing.
This whole thing is MK Ultra. If you saw the trailer for the second one, it's just visual effects, CGI water, and ambient music, and no dialogue, nothing to actually intrigue you to a story.
The very first time we did a segment on this, and whoever the director is was like, you're going to need bathroom breaks because it's 3 hours long or whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at both of you and I said, that means he doesn't have a plot and he wants you to have to leave the theater so that you feel like you missed something because this movie actually makes no sense, but he wants a cover for it. I stand by this analysis.
There's a
completely.
fair amount of there's a good
I was
enough
so
argument.
heated about this subject.
Just assume that the plot hinged upon those 5 minutes that
Yeah,
you were out of the
I
theater.
honestly feel like that's what he's trying to do. Like, to make up for the fact that this doesn't make sense, but they're still going to make 3 more of them. They're like, we have to make it so that they aren't interested in the plot always. They are divorced from the plot because we kept them hostage and they had to go to the bathroom.
Look
You
at
know what
how
they should
realistic that CGI water is.
You know what they
Don't
should
worry,
do?
we definitely made money off of it.
Is they should create an app that you connect to a Wi-Fi network when you're in the theater, so that when you leave, it immediately connects to your phone and allows you to watch it while you go to the bathroom, and then you can keep your eye on it while watching it, and then follow it back so that you don't miss anything, and then disconnects as soon as you leave the theater.
Okay,
That
but
would
how
be-
are you going to hear it?
Oh yeah, I guess I have headphones in all the time. So
Yeah,
just people walking around.
Genius
Just pe-
business idea.
Just people walking around with different movies playing on their phone. I support this idea.
Yeah,
James
with the
Cameron-
flushing toilets in the
Brett's always
background.
telling me he can't hear out of one ear, but actually he's just not listening to me.
James Cameron is a fairly trustworthy person. If you like Terminator 2, but we will not speak of everything past then. Titanic, if you like Titanic.
That's all right.
Aliens.
All right.
So it's not that he's not a good director. It's that nobody gives a crap about Avatar.
It means he doesn't give a crap anymore.
I think he does. I think he does care about this. Otherwise, why commit yourself to 5 of them?
See, that's the thing. It's like getting tenure for professors. Like, he's already got 5 movies in the bank. They're gonna pay him no matter what. So what is the point?
But he's writing it too. He's writing and directing. It's not like he's
Sure, he can make more money that way, but he doesn't have to write anything. He's sending people out of the theater, so he doesn't have to have a plot. Like, this guy has it made. There is no reason for him to put any effort into this.
We were talking about that AI generated shorts series and soon to be film Salt the other day, and I said maybe the
Thank
line
you.
between AI art and human art is going to be blurred as not as AI gets more developed, but as human beings become more AI like.
Maybe
And
James
this is
Cameron
exactly
just
what
AI.
I'm talking about. This movie feels like it's something that you'd strap in to watch on VR with your Neuralink, and it just auto generates as you sit there, and it shows you, peaceful CGI water scenes and
A
like
decade ago, it would have been made to be
jungles and rainforests and dragons.
watched. I
and
bet you
whatever.
most of the people that have seen it saw it on an airplane.
You think?
I remember.
we saw
Do
it
they
in
make money off of
theaters.
that?
Never mind. That is like now. I was trying to think. I was like, I felt like
That's how I
I'd
saw
seen.
Talladega Nights.
I
which
felt like
never
I
would have
saw
seen in
scenes of this. I saw
That's how I
this.
saw Boss Baby.
I did see. So I have seen this more than once, and I still don't remember it because when I went to the first time I went to Spain, this was like one of the options on
he's
the
been to
on
Spain.
the, like.
Oh,
This is one
but
of
he
the.
hung out with Shakira.
I did.
And
I
committed
did.
tax fraud with
so
her.
are you gonna have to testify?
Yes. This is one of the movies that was playing on the like for international flights because it's so damn long that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's globalist.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
globalist,
this is
so you can watch it on
And you
international
fall
don't have
asleep.
to be able to speak the language because you just have to watch all of the
yeah.
shiny
It makes
stuff
sense
go
no matter
around.
what.
You know.
This
So-
is a garbage movie. I didn't even think
So
it was
mad.
like, I wasn't even so heated. I didn't like it. It's fine. But I just don't trust this whole enterprise and franchise. I think they're going to manipulate all of the analytics that come with this. Just like I think this tenured director is going to not come up with anything creative.
How do they manipulate it then?
How does it
You said they're
Manipulate
gonna
the success
You said they're
of
going
it?
to manipulate the numbers. How do they do that?
I think that they probably have a contract with whatever major studio or Amazon to just be like, oh yeah, we definitely sold out, but they're buying tickets like we're saying, or
But isn't that lying to their
You can't lie to the shareholders.
shareholders?
And, also, the studio that wouldn't be beneficial for the actual theaters because the theaters take a piece of that growth, so they want people in those seats.
But
Unless you're saying they're literally buying
if
the
they
tickets
literally
themselves.
buy the tickets, the theaters don't care if people actually show up. In fact, they probably like it if people didn't show up because you get the money, but you don't have to clean up.
No,
after
because
them.
they don't make the money that way. That they make their money off of concession stands. That's how they make their money.
just
They only
let
get-
her believe in the conspiracy
when
theory. It's true.
when the theater keeps 40% of the income, the studio keeps 60%. Unless you're Disney, I think they keep a little bit more. So if the theater wants to make any money profit, they have to get people to go there for long movies and buy
but do
actual
these studios
food.
actually care about the theater at all?
No, they don't.
So
But
really
then why
what
would
they're
this- but
saying
why
is to
would
have a
this-
contract with any kind of streaming service is more beneficial. We talk about this all the time. Fewer people go to the movies. Really,
It's Disney.
what
It's
they-
going to Disney Plus and nowhere else.
So it's going to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
which means that Disney Plus is trying to hype this movie to drive people to its platform so that more people will subscribe to Disney Plus than to any other streaming platform. Either way you look at it, it's totally corrupt. I stand by this. I stand by this conspiracy theory that I made up right now.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the money will be made, but it won't be made here. It'll be made overseas.
Where
just like
overseas do you think?
Well,
China
I
still?
actually have the numbers here from the first.
Who likes this movie is what I want to know.
That's a very good question. Who the hell does like it?
Someone in the chat said, after Titanic, James Cameron realized that he only has to worry about his own story, and there are plenty of copywriters to make it make money. If you spend millions, people will watch you take a leak. True.
Basically, yeah. But I'm saying that people will spend the money to go see it. If, like I said, it would be a fantastic marketing move for them to spend the money, to spend $10 million here in the U.S. to make it seem like this movie did really, really well over the weekend. But do I think they actually did that? I don't know. Maybe. I doubt it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but that does seem to be dishonest to shareholders if they did that.
Yeah, if they're reinvesting their own money into it and it's not actual profit that's going back
Yeah.
into the company, yeah, then that's just shady booking or shady.
But there are
bookkeeping.
ways that you can dishonestly report the real numbers, I guess, like selectively telling the truth
Maybe
and
it's-
omitting certain facts. I don't know.
Maybe it's like in Zoolander when the song "Relax, Don't Do It" comes on, and Zoolander becomes an assassin. Maybe it's secretly there, it connects to people's brains and turns them into droids.
Look, probably my intuition is that the success is real, like the box office numbers are real, and it's only because people's tastes have degraded so much that they watch something like this or its sequel and genuinely see no problem with it.
See, I think it could be a golden chance for this movie to do really, really well if they got away from the climate change propaganda and they just
They
made
won't,
it.
though.
And they just made it a movie that didn't have anything to do with white, black, or different races. Like I said, and either anthropomorphic characters or non-humans, blue people.
Well, in 2010, you really didn't need to worry about that.
Now you do, so now they should lean into it.
They're going to lean into that part of
Yeah.
it. But if anything, the climate change agenda is only going to be more noticeable in the plot this time around, or they're going to pick some other pet issue that is tangentially related to reality.
I don't think they're going to lean into the fact that people are blue. I think they're going to use that to continuously talk about race as
It's
well
more
as
like
the environment.
Yeah, they compared it with like speciesism. Do you know what I mean? Like human beings believe themselves to be superior to the what are these people called?
The Na'vi.
The Na'vi. So it's not really what you're proposing, which is the anthropomorphic
I'm saying that it
characters
could be
solution.
if they were smart, but they won't be smart.
I stand by. Tenured director doesn't need to do anything for you. He gets to do what he wants and make as much money as possible.
You will watch him take a leak, and you will take a leak in the middle.
James Cameron has done a fair amount of good work in his career.
What do you guys think of watching things in 3D anyway?
I can't do it.
I find it underwhelming.
I don't get it. I only liked like the IMAX stuff for like nature documentaries. You know, you go to like a crazy aquarium and they show you how like be a fish. Like that's cool. I'll sit in that for 30 minutes, but I don't want to watch a 3-hour movie in like 3D. That's so dumb.
Avatar: The Way of the Water 2022, Avatar 3 2024, Avatar 4 2026, and Avatar 5 2028. That's like, so whoever gets elected next, you're gonna go through two.
I want a president to come out and strongly saying they will put an end to the Avatar movies.
National moratorium on sequels. Hannah Claire just called for it.
I will vote for this.
Whenever you're old enough to run for president, I hope that this will be your platform.
Okay, I'll put that in. Because I just think that we need to hold ourselves to a higher cultural standard. And I will say this in a campaign speech.
Yes.
Like, I just think this is crazy.
Off.
Why would we have a movie scheduled through 2026 that is number one dumb? Like, before you come at me with the put in made money.
Someone said the world won't even be around by then.
See,
a lot of people genuinely feel that way.
Is that Mark Ruffalo in our chat?
Maybe.
The amount of
it depends on why you're saying that, but a lot of people feel that way. And how am I supposed to be motivated to wait for Avatar 5 by the time I'm 28?
Also, is waiting for Avatar 5 supposed to motivate you?
Am I supposed to be excited?
No. Dumb.
I'm not buying into the narrative.
That's the thing. Like,
James
if
Cameron
we had new, refreshing, exciting culture, people would feel not as doom and gloom. Like, there are a lot of really difficult things going on right now in the world, and I can understand where people are starting to get into the like, well, it's all just going to fall apart mentality. But if we had true pursuit of creativity and art, if we held culture to a higher standard, like, I do think some of the but we got to keep going mentality. We got to push through. That got us through several world wars would stick around. And I just think Avatar is intentionally trying to make people depressed. No, I'm just kidding.
Could be.
Maybe.
Absolutely could be. Well, I mean,
it's all just
climate doomerism is like worse now than it's ever been in history. We were talking about that the other day when we were talking about how Gen Z has been fed a constant diet of the world is ending and it's your job to fix it. Thanks, boomers.
Climate change anxiety is one of the number one number one reasons people cite for not wanting to have children.
Yeah.
And I think that is bananas.
Yeah. Well, these people are they're naive.
Well, if you were told that the planet was going to like collapse in on itself and nothing you could do could save it, in fact everything you do makes it worse, like I can understand starting to be like,
and if you're shown like a 4-hour CGI, basically nature documentary that's like meant to hypnotize you and put you in a trance that forwards this message to you, what are you supposed to conclude when you walk out dazed and confused?
Should we have thought the same thing when Avatar came out 10 years after Gore said that the world was that the ocean levels were going to rise? And
you didn't think it was environmentalist themed propaganda at the time?
No, I'm saying like, but it's worse now. Why is it worse now? It's because the internet makes it worse.
Well, it's worse now, I think, because people have gotten so conflicted over the best ways to handle environmental crisis. Like when Al Gore was like, the environment's in trouble, let us do something. People were like, yeah, let's do something. And now there's a lot of there was a huge push to be like, wind turbines are the future. And now there's studies that show that wind turbines are actually not the like perfect solution that people thought they were. I think in
going
some ways,
to see Avatar 2 is the solution.
Which what?
Apparently.
I think that like we are being fed a more fear-mongering environmentalist agenda because it's the only way to make people feel truly engaged with it as the conversation and the science around it becomes more complex, right?
I mean, the science is the funny part because whenever people say like you said, they were told back then, you know, we need to do this, but nobody can actually cite you any example of like what made it better, right? Like as somebody who knows nothing about it, but also knows that government overreach is a poisonous thing. What was the company that Obama funded in 2000?
I don't know.
It was like a green energy company that they gave like $800 million to, and then it folded instantly. Yeah. Like, or anybody can Google anything that says like how many politicians have predicted the end of the world for as long as we've been around. But young people aren't looking for stuff like that. They're looking at whatever's on the headlines, which is why they now have climate action on the top of all the websites.
I think
we're getting a little bit off topic.
Well, I think for a long time, environmentalist issues were sort of this neutral, like you could be, but I'm pro the environment without needing to be specifically, like you were left leaning, but you weren't so left. And actually some of the most intense environmental conservationists that I know are very serious conservatives because they want to conserve the earth to continue to promote culture, right? And I think in a lot of ways that could add to the like doom fear mongering, because it means that more people than ever from both sides of the political aisle are on this idea that like if we don't intervene in the destruction of the planet, then there's nowhere to go.
Doesn't matter anyways, because as long as
think
China
that
and India are doing what they're doing, it doesn't matter.
I don't think
I think we're getting a little off course.
Exactly. Let's go super chats.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
I don't think this justifies 5 Avatar movies.
It absolutely justifies 5 Avatar movies as long as it makes money.
It definitely doesn't help with the hopelessness.
No, it
feeling of
doesn't.
Doom and
When you can't even get away
Yeah.
from it in the movies you watch, it's no wonder kids
they
are
don't
so
want
depressed.
you to feel hopeful. They want you to feel doomed.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
bye.